Okay, so this video should be pretty straightforward. I've got Zach here working from home with me today, so please just ignore him. Um, we're just going to go real fast how to do animation for a character that we can bring into Unity. So I have down here, I have the timeline do animation set up here. So just go to I think, if I go to animation, and that gives you the dope sheet and the timeline. But we don't need the dope sheet. Oh, and it gives you this too. We can just arrange it as we want. So I'm going to get rid of the dope sheet for now. Get rid of this first. So let's get rid of this area. So we go to the edge, join areas like that. Grab this edge, join areas, drag down. You can see the little arrow that shows which way you want to compress it. So boop. So now we just have the timeline and the 3D window up here. So what we want to do is we want to be able to have it remember at certain frames the location and rotation of the bones. So I'm going to start it at frame 1 and then have it go until frame 32. So that means that when we play it, boink, it will go all the way and then repeat itself. So that is pretty much that. So let's make sure we can actually save it. So we go to the keying, so there's playback and keying, we go to keying, and we want to set the active keying set to location rotation or lockrot. And that means that every time we save, let's say let's save everything on frame 1, press I to give it a keyframe. Let's go to frame 32, I give it a keyframe, then go in the middle, and let's bring this arm down. And when you press I, it only takes into account the bone that you are using. So we can actually, how do we, vertical split? No, I want a horizontal split. We can actually reopen the dope sheet now that I think about it. Dope. So what this does is it actually shows you all of the different bones. These are all of our bones, and these are the ones that have keyframes for a given one. So you can see that this one, the arm.l, has a keyframe in the middle and keyframes on both sides. So if we take a look at this, how it looks in motion, it looks like that, right? So in the middle, on the end it's up, in the middle we keyframed it down. And if we want, we can move this little guy so that its lowest point is here. So that would look like this. See how it goes up and down. So what I find is easiest is to get things. Let's go to the beginning of our, I'm going to join this. And I'm going to, in fact, cause a vertical split here if I can. There we go. I'll turn this one into the dope sheet. That way I can get a better look at it. Huh? Why are you different here? Weird. Huh. Well, we'll do this later. Join areas. Okay. So let's start at the beginning of the walk cycle. Let's say we've got 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. And because the whole thing is, ooh, there we go. There we go. Let's make it so that the feet are touching the ground at the edges here. So there we go. And this is the very first frame. So let's bring these arms down. It's always good to have the arms sort of like mismatch with the legs. Like if one leg is back, then its arm is front. If this leg is front, this arm is back. So it kind of looks like that. And let us grab everything and keyframe. And then let's go copy all these, because we still have a keyframe over here where it was all sort of, it's remembering what we'd done before. We can reset it with Control V. So we did Control C on this frame that we had posed, and now we do Control V here and I. And now that means that it remembers it now. So I've successfully added 77 keyframes for keying set lockrot. So now if I play, it looks like this, because it has 2 poses it remembers, one at each end of this thingy, frame 1 to frame 32, and it remembers them both being the same. So then we do right in the middle, frame 16, we simply reverse it. There we go. That one's front, and that one is back. There we go. And this one is back. And this one's front. So now it's the other way. So let's grab everything. And now this is what it looks like. That's kind of boring. So let's add a little bit more spice. So for the game we're making, we only need to make one animation, and it is the walking animation. And when you're making an animation, you kind of want to break it into like halves, and then halves of those halves. So we have it in halves. We have 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and 4. So it's 0, 2, 4, 0, 2, 4. What we want to do is add the 1 and the 3. And that can be, it doesn't have to be perfect. So what's happening here is the right leg is going back and the left leg is going forward. So let's take that left leg, which is this one, and it's going forward. So it's kind of being stepped up like this, whereas the right leg can be a kind of, there we go, like that. And we can just save these bones specifically. We don't have to save the rest. What we can even do is we can move this up a little bit, because at the middle of your stride, you're a little bit taller. So what that looks like is, see? Now it kind of looks like she's stepping instead of just gliding. And same thing here. So here her left leg is going back and her right is going forward. So let's do the same thing here. Let's bring up the middle. Left leg is this one. And you can just double check that by looking at the front. And then once again, I'm using the number pad 3 to look at the side like this. And then the other one is, I'll just do it manually. There we go. There we go. So grabbing these bones, we will set keyframes for them. So now when we play, yeah, there we go. Nice. And we can even be a little bit more fun. Let's say we want, you know, some side-to-side action. So, boom, and on this one, boom. There we go. There we go. And it kind of seems to pause a little before the end. So let's see if we can fix why that is. There we go, that seems to be a little bit more even. Or maybe it's just the matter of what frame we're ending on. Let's see if we end at 31, does that fix it? Somewhat, actually. There we go, that looks a lot better. And we could even make it a little bit more interesting by adding some secondary movement. So what a secondary movement is, so we have our 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what a secondary movement is when you have something that's a little bit after the main thing. So like the character's hair might move after the rest. So let's say this is our head, and it is only keyed on, whatchamacallit, 0, 2, and 1, whereas some other bones have sort of mid-step. So let's take one a bit after a mid-step, grab this, and let's have it twist to the side. So after this mid-step, twist to the other side. And let's see how that looks. Now it kind of gives it a little bit of a fun motion that's offset with the rest of the animation, and you can move these around. And the longer you have it after the main motion, or you can even do it before, and then that becomes something else entirely. There we go. You can move them all around and have some fun and see what that looks like. That's kind of fun. And then, yeah, if we open up the dope sheet again. Dope sheet. There you are. You can see what all the different ones are doing. So this is one that's grabbing like the arms, the legs, and all that stuff. This is the head. You can see how it's offset like that. You could even move these further back. There we go. That's work. Don't mind that. There we go. And so that right there is a perfectly passable animation. You can see it a little bit more clearly without the bones on. So that's something that we will be importing into Unity. So that is that for today, and I will see you guys at the Twitch stream tonight. See ya.